You seem to dressed up pretty formal today. Is there anything you want to talk about?
So now I'm gonna talk about the purpose that I wear this shirt was that today I'm gonna talk about skyscrapers.
That's an interesting topic. Why do you choose to talk about skyscraper?
I'm gonna talk about everything.
What,
Everything all related to skyscrapers.
why did you choose this topic?
So I want to like talk about more about some tallest skyscraper um, and there's a lot more.
How long have you been interested in skyscraper?
Maybe a few months. I started to find out about who is the engineer of that skyscraper, when is it built.
So basically the history and the architect and how it was built, like the process of building the skyscraper.
Sure.
What is your favorite skyscraper?
The one that I like is the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Tell me more about it.
So, did you know the Eiffel Tower was named after the Gustav Eiffel, the architecture who was designated about constructing that skyscraper to fascinate all the people, all the French people who are living in Paris. So on January 1887, the construction of the Eiffel Tower was started from its base, from the base of the tower, and the construction will continue throughout 2 years from 1887 all the way until the end of 1889. So that tower was exhibited to the French people who were living in Paris, so that when he exhibited the tower to all the people, his feeling was that that tower is a proud of on behalf of all French people who are, and he is the one who inspired other engineers to follow his path, to continue to construct more and more skyscrapers, not only in Paris, not just only in Paris, but throughout the world. So he's the one who inspired all the engineers
You
to
have
follow his path.
You have done a deep research on the skyscraper, specifically the Eiffel Tower. Tell me about how you did all that researches. Like, did you read a book, or did you search, or did you watch a video? Where did you take all that information?
I researched from the. I have all information that I researched. For example, I have read a book that was talk about all the famous building in Paris, including the Eiffel Tower. And also I researched online. So I talk about who is the architecture, when is it built, how is it constructed, and when that tower is exhibited to the French people.
You met who's the architect.
Yes.
You seem to be very fascinated, and you seem to really like Paris. Is France one of your favorite countries?
Definitely. Because I'm not fascinated about the French architecture. I also learned about their culture as well. I learned about the people, I learned about the language, so that I can learn more. I can learn more about the architecture, about culture, the language, the people. That was the thing that fascinated me a lot when I thinking about Paris. When I'm thinking about France.
I noticed you recently started to learn French. Is there a purpose behind learning French, or like why did you decided to start learning French?
So the reason why I started learning French is that I wanted to know more about how to speak to natives. I also learn French through many kinds of resources, so I can read through a book that always teach me how to speak French, or I can learn it through songs, French songs.
Learn through songs. That's an interesting way that I don't usually hear when someone learn a new language. Can you share more about how you learn through songs?
When I first started learning French, so I didn't know more about the language. So I have to research, I had to find a lot about the video about how can I learn to speak to say some basic words like hello or thank you.
Basic phrases.
Yeah, learn some basic phrases like Also, I will need to learn numbers, some numbers, days, months, weeks, like weekdays, like Monday.
Don't you think that
Yeah.
the writings and the pronunciations of each word individually, it's also an important thing to learn when you start learning French?
It's quite a difficult question. When I start to learn French, the first thing of all, when I start to learn French, so I just learned some basic phrases like how to say hello, how to introduce yourself, how to say thank you, and then when I fluent in all that basic phrases, I start to learn about numbers. I start to learn about all kinds of numbers, or even days, weekdays, weekends, months, weeks, years, even years. So I start from the basic phrases like to say hello, to say thank you, to say some more advanced phrases like numbers, days, months, weeks, even years.
I think you still need to do more researches on learning French, like how to start and what you should need to learn first. But it was very cool that you share your French learning experience. I wish and I hope that you would succeed in learning French and you would be able to speak it fluently in the future.
So can you share with me about learning like your language? I know you are learning to speak Spanish, right? So tell me more about that.
I have not I have not decided the language that I want to learn yet. Like there's a lot of languages that I want to learn, so I still have to, I guess, read things on that language, and I should do a lot of researches on, like, I guess, the benefits. And people say that you don't have to have like an exact reason to learn a language. Like it could just be like, I like the music, so I want to learn that language so I could listen to music without using subtitles. But I think that like learning a language, like it should also be like it should also benefit you in some ways. Like for me, learning anything new, I would think about, or I would consider how beneficial it is to myself or like to my studying or for my future. So I don't just like get into learning a language that fast. I would do research, and after all that, after like seriously doing proper, like after all the considerations, I would decide which language I want to learn. But yeah, Spanish, like I did start a bit of it, but I didn't really get deep into it because as soon as I started to learn Spanish, there's our like other languages that kind of drag me in, like kind of make me interested in them. For I won't gonna say it out specifically which languages, but there's are other languages like other than Spanish that I wanted to learn. So I'm still in the process of consider which language I'm going to try and learn them. So I haven't decided yet. I'm still see which one would be the best.
Me too. And I think that's a great idea that you need to do a lot of research. You can decide first which language you're going to learn, you're going to speak. But I think but research is very important.
Yeah,
Research is very important.
I agree. Like you can't not just get into something without, even when like take a close example for yourself, like a daily example. It's like since we're quarantined and we're staying at home most of the time, we're doing a lot of online shopping and ordering foods.
Yeah.
And you can see from that, like when you order foods or buy something online, I don't know for other people, but for me personally, I would first read reviews on that certain product, and I would also, if it's something that is really important, for example, something that I would put on my face, like for my skin, I would do researches. Important thing to do. So I would, if I'm really like, usually when I buy something, if it's just small stuff or like random things, I wouldn't do that much of research. Like if it's for decoration, like little things that I put on my desk, I would not do that much of researches. But for things that I put on my skin, things that would affect a lot, like for my health or something, I would even read articles. Like people would say like, why do you spend so much time researching on that product? Like you could just like buy it off, buy it off when you see it on the app or on the page. But it's really important to know if you're buying the product of a good store, or that product it's gonna give off, if it's gonna give you a lot of results that you would want. So yeah, like when I buy anything, research is important, and reading reviews from people also. Like for people that you can read things from people that already used it. Like sometimes they would make it up, like they would lie about it, but at least you have a wider view of what's that product like, so you would make a better decisions on buying it.
Me too. So when I first buy things online, for example, when I wanted to buy some books, there are many kinds of genres of book, like romantic, sci-fi, all kinds of genres. But I do agree that I need to do a lot of research to find out which books fit me most, and I will decide which book I like, which book is essential, which book contains a lot of important information, and so on. So research in my opinion I think it's very crucial, it's really essential that all people should apply when they decide to do something. They must do research first before they have the final decision.
What you just said about doing research to see if the book is essential and think, it reminds me of a saying called "Don't judge a book by its cover," because usually, like, I have gone through this situation before where I just buy a book because the cover is pretty, but then if I'm lucky, I would end up liking that book, but sometimes the story inside, like the content inside, is not like what the cover is. Like, the cover is super beautiful, super glamorous and gorgeous, but then when I finally brought it home and opened it and started reading it, it's just not the one that I, like, not the story that I want, or like it's just, like, it's not the same as the cover. Like, yeah, the cover's pretty, but nope, not the story inside. So you said that you also are thinking about the language that you're going to learn. So beside from French, what are other languages that you wanted to try?
I haven't decided yet, but besides French, I want to learn more languages. Like I have studied Japanese a few years ago, but
You stopped.
when I started growing up, I just like get rid of it. Get rid of it. I just ignore it.
I think we both did study Japan, like Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah, you were in high school and I was in primary school.
Yeah.
But then after I get into grade 6, we just, I guess, stopped learning Japanese for some reasons. I think it's because we were busy of moving out of the old place, and also
Yeah.
I was getting into a new environment, and you decided to focus more on other subjects than learning Japanese, like, and because we both are learning English in school, like it's our second language since we're little.
Yeah.
So I think we both decided that we should focus more on English before we learn any other languages.
So,
So yeah, we stopped for a couple years.
like for several years.
Yeah, for several years. So Japanese.
Like we just left the Japanese language behind. Just left it there. We just focusing on English first before we continue to study to learn other languages.
How about other languages? Are there any other, or just French and Japanese?
I think those two are enough. And I think those two languages are enough for me, but
You
yeah.
would, like, if you, I don't know, maybe like finished learning 2 of them,
yeah.
you could like learn more if you want.
But if I want to learn more, I can also add more, maybe 2 more languages. Like, for example, I can add Korean. I can add Korean, or maybe even Russian. I just remember that last few years when we go on the trip to Russia, we were going on the boat ride from, like, we visit every place in Russia from Moscow to St. Petersburg. I just learned a little bit Russian, but
It was temporary. Yeah, it was.
not that much.
Yeah. You bought a alphabet part.
Yeah, but like when I say thank you in Russia, I just say like spasiba.
Cool.
Spasiba.
So your top two would be Japanese and French.
Yeah.
But if you finish them, you would consider it Korean or Russian. Cool.
Yeah. So any other languages besides the language that you are learning?
Besides Spanish?
Yeah.
Well, I said that I'm not gonna tell which languages it was specifically, but now that you asked, I guess I'm just gonna say it out. Besides Spanish, I would also like to learn Korean. What was it? The other one? Korean, Spanish. What was the other? I think I want to learn another one, but then now I forgot. Oh, Chinese. Yeah, Chinese is really cool. But their alphabet and words and writing, it's wow. The characters.
Chinese.
Like you could, wow, that's like a tons of character that you have to learn in order to like write in Chinese. Like we could kind of pronounce it. Not that's good, but
Yeah.
like pronunciations and talking, it's way easier. But you need to write. Like you don't just learn the language like just talking. You would need to write it in some point of.
So like, did you remember the first trip when we go into China?
Mhm.
When we go to visit like the Forbidden City and what's another one? The Great Wall.
Yeah. The Great Wall.
The Great Wall.
That place freaked me out.
Yeah.
That freaked me out.
And when I went to that place, I was like, why is the wall so long?
No, that's what surprised me. Like I learned about the Great Wall since I was in primary. Like we got to, I remember it was like a paragraph about the Great Wall, and we got to like type it out, and I was, like it was really cool for me to look at the Great Wall because it's such a big and huge place, and when we get to like stepped on, like my very first step on the Great Wall was wow. Like I never thought that I would be able to go there, but the other thing that I just said that it freaked me out. Like it didn't freak me out because how huge it was, but it freaked me out because remember how the tour guide said that we were stepping on skeletons of people. And I was like, am I supposed to step on it? Or like, should I stop? Because that's scary. Like you're stepping on people. It's like below your feet. But like it was a great experience because it was so huge.
I do remember the first time we had stepped into the Forbidden City. The most ancient site right in the city center. Right in the center of Beijing. That's my first time. That's my first time I stepped into the Forbidden City. How did you feel like when you stepped in the Forbidden City?
Every stepped into like all the destinations in China, I was in like not shocked, but I was blessed again. I was really grateful because our parents gave us the opportunity to, go to a lot of places and China. Because I never thought I would go to China. Because just like reading a paragraph about the Great Wall, really, it was wow. I was like, would I ever be able to go to China? But we did. Like we didn't just go into the Great Wall, but we go to like tons of destinations. Like did we went to Beijing? Yeah, we went to Beijing, and then we went to a lot of other places.
We went to Shenzhen.
Mhm.
Went to Shenzhen, and but there's. I think I wish I could visit one big city in China. One more big city in China. And that city is not Beijing, but and that city has a big size skyscraper, and that city is Shanghai. Shanghai.
I just remember about the languages. Beside from Spanish, Korean, Chinese. What was it? I would also love to learn Germany or Danish.
Deutsch.
Deutsch. Yeah.
Deutsch.
Yeah.
D-E-U-T.
But it's super hard
Deutsch.
to pronounce. Like I watched a video on how to like say basic phrases in those languages, and I was like, hold on, let me rethink of my decisions on learning them. And then Spanish was easier for me to say and also to write, but I don't know, I might change.
So I remember the first time when we flew to England. But the first place, that's not England, it's Scotland.
Yep.
The first place that we visited many years ago, it's not England, it's Scotland. And the first place in Scotland was Edinburgh. And then we go all the way through England. We went to Edinburgh, went to Glasgow, went to Manchester, and finally we end up in London.
You have such wonderful memory. Like I can't remember any of that, and I feel so ashamed of myself because I'm supposed to remember them because it's, well, I say because a lot. Like there are really cool experiences and trips that we get to go to, you know, so like I should be able to remember like even like a small part of it, but I don't remember anything. I just remember that we went there. Well, I don't remember specifically where did we go, but you remember all of that. Where did we went, but you remember all of them. That's really cool. You have a wonderful memory. I wish I had them.
We also have some beautiful memories when we go to America.
Yep, we went to a lot of countries.
But we just flew all around from east to west. For example, like many years, like the first place that we went, that we landed in America, and that place is New York. New York, we go all the way through DC. You see, we stopped there, we visited some places before we took a flight to LA.
How do you remember that much? Wow.
LA. You know LA, right? We go to LA, then like, I didn't know what word to describe, but you know, LA is very famous.
Hey, remember when we went to drink that orange juice, like that round truck? Where was it? Round truck or round beauty? I don't remember.
The round apple?
No, the round orange. We went with
the white cup.
Yeah, the white cup.
That time when that was before we go to America.
That was in
Canada.
Oh yeah, right.
That time when the first place in Canada that we went to is Toronto.
Yeah, was it in Toronto? I think we went
Toronto.
We went to eat something. We went to eat hamburger or something, and then
I don't know exactly, but
yeah, and then father's friend took us to that orange juice, and it was delicious. It was wow.
Yeah.
I want another cup of that.
Me too.
But it was so small. Remember, we'll have like half size of like our usual boba. Cup.
Like when I go to Las Vegas for my first time in life.
Mm-hmm.
When I stepped into the city, I was like, oh my god.
You're really there, like, oh my god, I'm really in Las Vegas.
I'm really fascinated.
Like, I'm actually in the city, whereas the city that I saw and all that movies.
I cannot describe about Las Vegas, but
Remember what was it? The
you know when we stepped into the hotel that was shaped like a pyramid?
yeah, wow, that was, ooh, yeah.
And there's a hotel that was the miniature of Venice.
Mm-hmm.
And the miniature of New York.
Remember when we went to Universal Studios?
The Universal Studios? Oh.
I don't know about you and everyone, but Universal and Disneyland, like from all of our trip, that two places was what are like most. It's cool. Or maybe it's because I was too little back then, so I just only enjoyed going on a Ferris wheel, on a roller coaster. But I guess I still like them now. I really want to go back to Universal Studio, but we'll see about the situations of all that COVID-19.
I remember the time when I waved a flag when I stand right there, and when I went to San Francisco.
You waved a flag, you did? Oh, yeah, right.
I was...
The Golden Gate Bridge.
The Golden Gate Bridge, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was standing there and the bridge is the background. It was my wonderful experience that day.
I got to eat cotton candy, that's cool.
Cotton candy?
Yeah, we got like huge boxes of cotton candy.
Oh.
And I couldn't even eat them all.
You know the one that, the restaurant that we eat by the harbor?
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot the name.
The seafood, like, I don't know the name, but...
Didn't.
But I definitely think that the food is very...
Didn't we ate with father's friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, we ate with all of them.
Yeah.
That was my first time ever in my life heard about fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
I was like, what is that? And I was like, can I order one too? But then I'm not sure if it's gonna be good or not.
We ate at a restaurant just by the harbor.
Yeah.
Just by the harbor.
It was good.
Just by the harbor. And you know the time when we go to France?
Which part?
With this thing underneath the Eiffel Tower. I was definitely like,
oh.
Why is the weather so cold?
Because we went on the cold seasons.
When I bring it out, like.
Yeah.
I didn't think that it was very different, but when I blow out, that smoke that just came out.
Because it was cold. That's what temperature do.
But after France, we go to Switzerland.
Chocolate.
Chocolate milk.
Yep.
Hot chocolate.
Chocolate cubes. It was chocolate. Oh wait, no, chocolate bars.
Oh my god.
Wrong words. Chocolate bars.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't we went on that tall mountains? Was it in Switzerland? Yeah, it was in Switzerland.
Yeah, the mountain with the cable cars.
Yeah, we drank a lot of chocolate.
Yeah.
Hot chocolate.
Like
it was the best times of my life.
I was getting freeze that day.
Wait, talking about mountains, remember Japan? The
Fuji mountain.
You and father went to the top of the mountain, and then me and mom just sat there eating stuff because it was so cold. And then you guys got to receive 2 eggs because all that hardworking. Like you guys went all the way up there, and then you said that hey, we received something because we were so hardworking, and then 2x.
Wow.
2 tiny eggs for your cold hands.
Yeah.
It was cool, yeah.
But definitely the experience in Switzerland was my best experience.
Because you like chocolate.
Yeah, and the extremely cold weather.
You like cold weather.
Definitely.
Yeah, because you don't get cold. I get cold.
At that time, I almost get freeze, man.
But you went to the top of the mountain.
I was getting
You weren't cold.
I was getting freeze when I just get off the bus.
Mm-hmm.
When I just get off the bus, I just feel like I need something because I just feel like the weather outside is cold. So I decided to wear something when I get off the bus.
I was so skinny. I wear like 3 layers of clothes and I still get cold. You wear like 2? And you were like running around and I was like freezing. You didn't get cold. You did got cold, but
Wait.
you were enjoying it.
At that time when you just begin to step out the bus, or you decide to wear something.
Where though?
Like when the weather is cold, what you decide to wear when you get off the bus.
Coat. What's that? A scarf. And gloves. Gloves, yeah. Bear gloves, bunny.
And I think that day I should decide to wear that first before I get off the bus. Before I get off the bus.
Great choice. You made a good decisions.
At that day when I came down, I just tried to get off the bus. I just feel like I forgot something.
So like when we stepped down that staircase, we're like, hold on a minute. Nope, I ain't going down out that weather with the like 1 layer's clothes. And then we like rushed back to the bus and then get all that scarves and clothes.
Like when I just step up the bus when I just think, hang on
a minute, why is it so cold?
I just forget some things, so I get back to the bus.
You got back to the bus?
I got back to the bus. I get my jacket, I get my scarf, I get my gloves. I wear my jacket on because it was freezing outside. And then there's one thing that I need to protect my feet as well. The boots. I need, when I just first step out of the bus, I just think,
You didn't wear boots, you wear like...
shoes. I
wear
wear shoes.
Sneakers, you didn't wear boots.
I wear shoes. Yeah. Like, when I first stepped out of the bus, I was like, hang on, I must forget something. Thinking one thinking.
I sure do.
So when you first step out of the bus, what do you feel like? When it's snowing outside.
Freezing.
So we better rush back to the bus.
We better stop too. I think he wrote something on the iPad. You should read it.
Okay, so I think.
Oh, I just cursed.
So I think we will continue the story later.
Yeah, I just cursed.
We will continue the story another day. Let's have a sip. That was a best experience in life.
Yep. I must stop.